Welcome back to another episode of the Offer Hustle. I'm your host, your DJ, MC, all in three, Deona Hustle. You can catch me weekdays on Hustle and Shine in the morning on Hot 103 Jams. Big shout out to NSPN for producing the Offer Hustle. And today we at the shop with it. Yes, the Cigar Lounge. They smoking big upstairs. So shout out to the Cigar Lounge for allowing us to come on the KCK side and post up. Now today we doing something a little different. You probably like, Deona, why you got headphones? I'm gonna tell you why. Go ahead and tap in. Because today's guest, he got so much motion, he ain't even here in person with me because he be flying this way and that way. And he is a real student of the game, a Berklee College of Music graduate, Duke Ellington School of Arts, singer, songwriter, producer. He has several top 10 R&B Billboard radio hits. I love him because when he sings, the timing is impeccable. Why? Because he has a sweet release. Please welcome to the show on the virtual end in a whole nother time zone, Kevin Ross.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Offer Hustle. You killed it when you landed in Kansas City a couple weekends ago for our all-white linen party. You did that.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So I want to say before I get into this icebreaker, so we're going to go down a list of your career, the Glade commercial, yes. Every single thing that you've done up until the point that you're at now. But it was about maybe a couple years ago, and it's crazy when you hear someone's music and you see someone's face, and sometimes you don't realize it's the same person. And so you've had a lot of different projects that I've heard. I didn't put the name with the face and all and the notes with your face as well. Yeah. But I had heard a couple songs off of Drive 2, Audacity. It was just a bunch of different projects. And I was like, who is this guy? Like, this is fire. And I love the melodic tone of your music. Like, I am really a fan of yours. So I just wanted to put that out there as all the music that I've heard of yours. I'm gonna tell you my favorite songs later, and I would love to hear your favorites because I know some artists say that the music that they love is not the music that the people love sometimes. So we're gonna start off with an icebreaker though, okay? Would you rather break up with somebody in person or over the phone?
In person.
Okay, that's good. Old school.
So you can get the definitive closure. That's
good. Yeah. Because you'll probably text him again later and be like, well, wait, never mind.
Yeah. It's a different type of energy when you see somebody in person when you did it over the phone. You know what I mean?
Sweet release or looking for love?
Honestly, it depends on the day, but I'm going to go with sweet release for sure.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder or Marvin Gaye?
Stevie Wonder, for sure.
Okay. 90s R&B or 2000s R&B?
2000s R&B.
I like that. That's refreshing to hear. Yeah. We'll dive in a little bit more about that whole decade of rivalry that happens online. Yeah. If you could erase one R&B song from history so no one ever heard it again, but also be the person to reintroduce it as your own, which song would you choose?
That's a good one. To erase it from history and then for me to reintroduce it as my own record.
Yes.
Within the time frame of now,
whenever it can be any decade, anything. If you want to take a Usher song, what it doesn't matter, whatever it is.
That's tough. That's such a good question because there's so many songs that I would like swipe from somebody and be like,
I wish I want that. Yeah,
give it here for sure. I ain't gonna lie. Like if I was in the 60s, I'll go by decades then. If I was in the 60s, then I would have erased my girl and made it mine. You know what I mean? Because that's such a fly record for the time.
Yeah.
Like they were really on some like slick talk back then.
Yeah.
Maybe like the 70s, I would probably swipe maybe Stevie Wonder's Superstition. I'll probably do that. And
you going classic for classic. I love it.
Yeah, 80s. I would probably swipe. So many songs in the 80s that I'll probably swipe, but I would say like maybe like Human Nature, Michael Jackson.
Yes.
That.
I love that song, and even the SWV's mixture of them getting into the song. I love it.
let's see, 90s. We got if I could swipe, I probably swiped Can We Talk Tevin Campbell for sure.
Okay.
Need that.
I can feel that from
Um
you. Yeah.
in the early 2000s, I would probably swipe. It's definitely gonna be like a Neptune's production for sure.
Okay.
No. I would probably do Music Soul Child's Just
Oh
Friends. I
wow.
swipe that.
You
Yeah.
you hitting all the songs that I like. This is why I
Yeah.
said your music reminds me of the songs that you're mentioning too. Like it makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Yeah. So those would be the songs I swipe for sure.
Okay. I like those. Well, I feel like we put it in the atmosphere that some of these artists are like maybe let's do a 2025 version or 2026 version. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Come on.
All right.
Reinterpretations. I like
Yeah.
it.
Now, one last question before we dive into more about your career, you growing up in the DMV area and more. What's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to you being in the studio cooking up?
I don't like to waste time no more. And I don't like people smoking. So I don't smoke. Um,
Same.
you know, if I do, indulge is in on the holidays and it's edibles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I gotta take care of my voice. I don't like smoking. I don't really, yeah. So no smoking allowed in the studio if it's my session. And then I just don't believe in like people just like kind of catching a vibe and all that for like hours on end. It's like if you ain't coming up with something, then it's like, all right, like let's not waste our time.
Because
So
I
yeah,
can
those are the
imagine
two pet peeves.
it could be so long in the studio if you just come in there and be like, we just gonna play by ear. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think everybody, thinks of the studio as different things. So like some people think of the studio as like the hangout spot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some people think of the studio as like a therapy session. You know what I mean? Some people think of the joint as a lounge or a club. But for me, the studio is work. You know what I mean? I clock in, I do what I gotta do, I make the stuff that I want to make, and then, rinse and repeat.
I love that. Yeah. When it's time to clock in, it's time to get to it. So I respect that for sure. Now, since you did grow up in the DMV area, I know your family also, your dad was a musician. How did all those things just shape your sound and your drive as an artist?
I mean, honestly, my dad, in the sense of like, I mean, he was like he was a hustler. So like, of course, he had his 9 to 5, but as far as on weekends, he's singing at churches, he's singing at weddings, he's singing at whatever, like that was offering a little bit of money. You know what I mean? 3 boys, and he's taking us with him. You know what I mean? And so you learn the poise, how he prepared, making sure that he warmed up, making sure that he always presented his best. And so, that I always kind of gleaned on in a sense of like really taking from my father and applying to my career.
I love that. I don't think people realize how much your parents can still impact that. And they do literally start that drive for you.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Now, you also have said covering Stevie Wonder in a Motown tribute during your high school years inspired you to pursue music. But what was about that moment that really clicked for you, though?
You did your research. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
2, I think what really clicked within the moment is that I had to really work to be Stevie Wonder. So like to put it in perspective, like we do a Motown review every winter and every spring. And so the senior that had done Stevie Wonder for all of these years was graduating. And so they needed to pass the baton, pass the torch. So they had this big audition in the school to be who's going to play Stevie Wonder. And so I practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. And then I finally got it. But just because you have it doesn't mean that like, the crowd is going to like be there and cheer you on. It's high school, but it's like it's an arts high school. So there's an expectation that's there to say, like, they're not saying, oh, he's trying to sing. It's like, no, you better deliver.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you're gonna be taken out of this position.
Hello.
And so once I started singing on stage and like just the connection and like looking at people's eyes and faces, and I'm like, okay, like this is a experience. Like this is not just a self-indulging thing. After you kind of let go, you're like, oh, like I can really like help, inspire someone or like change their mood or, affect their day in a different way.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean that really was kind of a pivotal point to say, okay, I I may want the mic in my hand a little bit more. You know what I mean? And do contemporary music. So
do you have that performance on tape?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
But I think maybe one of my classmates like does like somewhere, and it's probably like deep in their archives, to be
We're gonna have to
honest.
find that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
Now you're not just a singer. You're also a songwriter, which is very to me underrated. And a lot of times people don't even realize people are writing songs. They're like, "Oh, who's in the credits? How are they in the credits?" And I know at Berkeley you study contemporary writing and production. How do you feel like that's really shaped in that training, influenced the way you approach songwriting today?
It made me malleable in the sense of being able to like adapt to, you know, whatever room that I'm in. I don't know if it necessarily taught me tools. It just taught me to be open in a sense to say, okay, if I'm working with this person who's a country writer, then I could be malleable to say, okay, I have to understand their tone, their rhythm, their flow, their rhetoric, the language of it in order to make this co-write a little bit more cohesive. And so you kind of got to meet people halfway where they are in the room in order for things to move in a more efficient way.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the only thing, is just like being able to adapt.
Yeah. And with you writing, I mean, you've written for some greats. I mean, SWV's in your lineup, Trey Songz, the Trigger album. And I just want to say, I didn't even know that. I had to do, when I did my research, and I love that What's Best for You. Oh my God. I'm telling you, I love that song. So when it does come to you, for you to write these songs and be in the studio, I'm assuming every project's a little bit different, where maybe you've just written a song before and then you pass it to the singers. How has it worked for you with that collaboration? I'm specifically interested to know how What's Best for You came about, because I love that song.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean we could talk about that experience as far as with Trey. So I think the year was 2014. We knew he was in there making a project, and I've been around Trey and the team because of Troy Taylor, who is the executive producer of Trey Songz, all of the stuff that, you know, people know and love. So I came into Atlanta literally after like Ready popped. And so I'm just a newbie, and it's like they're experiencing this new level of fame and success, but they're like really hard at work because now Trey's on demand. So it's nonstop at that point, and I'm sitting there witnessing it, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can get on Passion, Pain, and Pleasure. I'm not PPP, whatever,
Right.
you know, but still too young. And then when Trigger came about, and it was like, okay, cool, I got a chance to go to, you know, Trey's house in LA. And so he's playing stuff that he's working on. And it allowed for me to get a sense of, okay, this is where he is, this is where he's at. I got the edge up because now I'm getting it from the artist of where he wants to be, where he wants to go, X, Y, and Z. And then I'm getting to experience a little bit of his lifestyle. And so that really helped to pin like Touchin' Lovin' featuring Nicki Minaj, or Dead Wrong featuring Ty Dolla $ign. What's Best for You, the vulnerable side of it, because Trigger was supposed to be kind of like a duality thing. It was like, okay, well, there's Trigger, and then there's gonna be another side, Tremaine. And so What's Best for You was kind of like in flux of being like, well, this is the Tremaine side of you.
Right.
He's like, nah, we're gonna put it on Trigger. So you know, it all worked out. But it was a super cool experience because it was one of the first times that I was able to really sit in with the artist to work and to be intentional. And so we worked every single day for about 4 months until it finally started to click and roll. And then the next thing you know, it was like, you know, it started from like being like, that's cool, or try again, to like every other idea that, you know, we're creating, he's cutting. And so that was a huge pivotal point for me. And it changed my address. It definitely, you know, added some zeros to my bank account. And so it kind of, you know, it kind of allowed for me to understand and kind of experience being a like successful writer in the industry. So shout out to Trey and the whole camp for sure.
Yeah, no, I love that album. And though when I read all the songs, I'm like, these are literally the songs that I love. This makes so much sense now. Bryson Tiller, not that long ago, sat down during an interview and was just talking about how he's a songwriter as well. Many know. But he's more so in the lane of, you know what? He'd rather just be a songwriter. He doesn't want the fame. How do you feel about that? Like you of course are multi-talented and faceted when it comes to music. So do you have a preference on where you want to be listed as and just navigate in?
I don't think it really matters as far as my preference. I think it's what's necessary, right? And so in the music business, the more that you have to your arsenal, the more seasons that you're able to go into. So you won't be cold for too long, in the sense of, if I'm just a singer, then I know that I'm only going to have the white hot light for so long. And then you go into, this performance purgatory. But if I'm a writer, then it's like, okay, cool. Like my pen could be hot for a while, and then I can jump to being an artist. So then if my pen ain't working, I can find another writer, and then I can start producing.
Right.
So the more that you can start to bounce around, the seasons change, and then it starts to not become about you, but then it becomes about service. How can I be of service to someone else outside of me when it's not my time, when the light is not on me, when the records aren't doing the things that it's supposed to do? Or now I can focus on this person's project, a Kiana Lede or whatever. Like, you can make sure that you maneuver and still be able to pay your bills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's most important.
It sounds like wearing multiple hats is important, because I hear that in every single industry, even radio and entertainment. That's what people say is like, don't just be the voice, be the person behind the camera, be the editor, have those ideas and all that. So it makes a lot of sense, because I hear that a lot is make sure that you're not just doing one thing.
Yeah.
To make yourself valuable.
No, absolutely. I mean, look, in a perfect world, every performance that I'm due, you know what I mean? You give me a cool meal, then we ain't gonna have no problem.
Right.
Yeah, the perfect world. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, do it.
Y'all listening, give my man a meal right now. As in a contract. You've been very consistent. I remember back in, I think, was it like 2014, roughly 2014, of the Glade a commercial?
Was it? Yeah, you're right. 2014. Okay. Yeah, that was a busy year for sure.
Yeah. So I remember that. And then like you said, even if you're not putting out maybe an album or what that year, you're still writing for GREATS, and you're still involved and you're being consistent. But I know you took like a little bit of a time off and then came back with Art Society Music Group. Could you talk a little bit about that hiatus?
Oh, yeah. So what ended up happening was 2017, I put out my first project as an artist, signed to Motown Records. And then we had a #1 R&B record entitled Long Song Away. And so the person that brought me into the building, they left and they didn't tell me. I knew the game at that point. So it's like, well, it takes a while for you to kind of shop around and figure out where you're going to go. So the fact that you didn't tell me, and they were double dipping in the sense that they were my manager too at the time. So it's like, you're my manager, and you didn't let me know that you were leaving. I've seen enough unsungs on TV One to understand that when your champion leaves the building and there's a new regime that's coming in, you will not be priority because they're already bringing in new priority and fresh ideas into it. You're just now a catalog artist that they may give a little bit of attention to. So I was like, nah, let me ask for my release.
Yeah.
And so they did what I think any smart major label would do. When you put money inside of an artist and things are starting to work and they ask for the release, then you ice them. And they iced me for about 1.5 years. So that hiatus wasn't a hiatus that I took
by choice.
It was like, like by choice. It was just the fact of, as I was going through the transition of getting off the label, I couldn't put out any music and this and that. I had to start my own company as well. So get the LLC together, get my touring LLC together, get my business together, who's going to be my business manager, find different mentors, develop a whole team and a structure and a strategy. So that 1.5 years, even though it was super like agonizing at certain points, it was necessary. And it was a blessing, because by the time that they released me, like 1.5 months later, I was rolling. You know what I mean? Like off to the races.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. We'll get into that.
COVID shook everybody. That's when I had just started my radio career. So like I had just graduated college in December of 2019. So I had started working radio thinking, I'm finna get outside. I'm finna go to this event, that event. 3 months into it, it was like, nope, you interviewing everybody on Zoom. I said, dang. But you know, I feel like that also just taught a lot of people, you know, it's a glass half full, a glass half empty type of thing. You're gonna pick and choose what perspective you want to have. And it sounds like
Absolutely.
you are a very positive person. I mean, I feel it in your music too. Of that's how you kind of carry yourself. Like your music isn't sad and somber and like, you know, it's
Yeah.
up tempo. I mean, literally love up tempo. That's the kind of
Love tempo,
vibe,
you know what I'm
right?
saying?
Yeah. So that's the vibe that you carry.
Yeah.
As an artist, songwriter, and producer, I've always been curious of this. How do you decide when a song is for you versus when it's better for another artist?
You know your own DNA. And so for me, I know what melodies sound good on me. I know what verbiage sounds good on me. So like it's easy for me to be like, okay, like this is for Tank or this is for this person or whatever. Because it's like, okay, if I look in the mirror and sing it, I don't believe me. Just
Okay.
because a song is dope doesn't mean that it fits the artist because every artist has a vibe, an aura, an energy that they give off, whether they know it or not. It's whether or not you're honest about the vibe and energy that you give off. And it's important that you do, as an artist, understand that because you are the vessel to the product that you're selling. So if the people don't believe you, then they're not going to buy into it. And it's just going to be a tougher road and more transitions and pivots that you have to do in order for people to see your true self. And so, yeah, it's easy for me to kind of like trace the DNA to say, like there's certain songs that like certain artists that I've had featured on a record and they like, yo, like I can this gonna be my single. I don't know if this is just gonna be on your album,
Right.
but you know, I'm trying to make this into a single, bro.
That's
And
funny.
certain things like that where like in hindsight I was like, I could have maybe did a better business decision. But during that time, you know, you're thinking about the body of work and you're thinking about to say, okay, well, yeah, I can give this to you or I can bet on myself and make sure that I do what I need to do with it. But you know, you live and you learn, but 95% of the time, DNA
Yeah,
is
that makes
obvious.
sense. So far in
Yeah.
your career, have you had like any moments that was like, I mean, the you're gonna have the highs and lows. That's what comes with it. But like, have you had any moments where you was like, "Whoo, might be the biggest lesson I've learned thus far"?
I feel like every year I'm learning the
Really?
biggest lesson that I've learned thus far for sure. I mean, it's always something. You know what I mean? Because music is always evolving. And so like just when you think that you've like got a good grip on it, like the whole thing changes.
Changes, it switches
And
up
then you
on you.
have to, yeah. So if anything, it is being open, being observative, being okay with not knowing everything, and also keeping a good team around you because that really helps or hurts the morale of and the momentum of what you have going on. Even if it's a 2-person team or a 3-person team,
Yeah.
everybody has to be like-minded and similar energy in a sense to understand the goal that's at hand. And so, you know, when you have, you know, a bad apple here and there, you have to know how to remove them from the situation with love to say, you know, I appreciate it, but, you know, I don't think you're going to be a good fit for the team.
You
You know what I
definitely had to
mean?
have that. Yeah.
Because they may not understand the vision. You know, they may be good at their job with someone else, but just not mesh along with what I have going on in my mission statement.
Yeah. And chemistry is important. I mean, you can't just because two people are really good in this thing, like you said, if it ain't there, it's just not there.
It ain't gonna happen. Yeah.
Now, I got this fun segment I do. Now, of course, whenever you do come back to Kansas City or I'm in whatever city you are at, we definitely gonna have to do this specific segment again, the way that I typically do it in person. But I got a virtual version of it. So I'm gonna name 3 different artists. Now, when you hear their names, you got about 30 seconds or so to think of the first song that comes to your mind. And not only that, but you have to at least sing just like a chorus of that song. So 3 artists that I'm gonna name, and you know, like I said, whatever is the first song that comes to mind of this artist.
Okay.
And it doesn't even have to be a song out of their catalog. It can be a song that you feel like just represents them well. Or makes sense.
That's interesting.
Yeah, kind of like a mood. Like a mood. We're making a audio mood board.
Okay. I like that.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get started.
All right.
The first artist is Michael Jackson.
Ooh. Looking in the mirror took me by surprise. I can't help but see you running often through my mind. Said I'm hopeless like a baby since you're all disguise. I can't help but love you. It's getting better all the time. I can't help it. If I wanted to, I wouldn't help it, even if I could. Yeah, MJ,
Yeah,
for sure.
you ate
Yeah.
that up. Okay, we're gonna have the sound effects in there. That was great. Wow. See, we're starting off on a high. I can't wait to see what you do with number 2. All right. It's one of my faves. It's a bunch of people that I love. But Mary J. Blige.
Ooh. What is the first song that comes to mind? It's a lot of
That's what I'm
it
saying.
just
She got
literally rushed. It rushed my brain.
yes.
Uh
I could throw some out
what
there.
is it? How can I love somebody else if I can't? Trying to turn us out to know. Yeah. All I really want is to be happy.
Uh-huh.
To find a love that's right. It'll be so sweet. Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds great.
that's
Yeah. I like
Mary. Yeah,
that. That was great. See, yo, hit
with the
the
boots.
boots. Come on now. Hey, Mary J in the
Yeah.
house. She need a
Yeah.
look. Whenever Mary J need a break in between them sets, I'm telling her she need to just call me in. I got a pair of boots and I'm just gonna
Oh
get with it. I'm gonna
man.
get into my Mary J Lil Kim bag. We just
Come
gonna go
on.
at it. All right, so the last artist I have for you. Usher.
You said who?
Usher Raymond.
Usher. Usher. Still a lot of songs come to mind.
Yeah. So many.
Ooh, you remind me of a girl that I once knew. See your face whenever I look at you. Wouldn't believe all of the things she put me through. This is why I just can't get with you.
Ooh, that was fire. Great job.
Thank you.
Kevin Ross, y'all already know. Y'all have heard the projects back to back. You've heard them. I mean, that was great, by the way. Thank you for participating in that game. Because I know it's like on the spot, but that's why I on my show I love singers. I love y'all so much because I can't sing. Like, and it's okay. God gave me other talents, but
hey, come on now.
But I just love being able to hear you all's voice and the talents and the gifts that you all have and the way that you're able to just, hook stuff up and do what y'all want to do with it. I love that.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. That was great.
Not for sure.
Now, I ain't gonna take up too much more of your time. I do have a couple more questions I wanted to just run by you because I'm just interested, super interested in this. Since you have been around for I would say a very consistent period of time, how have you personally stayed grounded and motivated? Because it's a lot of highs and lows once again.
Yeah. Family, friends. You know what I mean? Like God, for sure. You know what I mean? I think those 3 things, obviously God, family, friends, for sure, in that order. But yeah, it keeps me sane. It keeps me grounded. You know what I mean? Like, I think too much time in the industry can kind of cloud you and blind you. You start believing in your own hype, or you start becoming bitter and resentful of the things that you wanted to have, or things that you don't have, or the things that you had and that whatever you want to have more of. And so, you got to understand, like, it's a game at the end of the day. And sometimes, you got to take that jersey off and be a real person.
Mm-hmm. No, that's real. Now, Love Up Tempo, what's your favorite on that project?
Ooh, it varies, but right now it's between Check-In and KJ's interlude, because that's my son, so it's like it holds a special place in my heart. So it's like that interlude into Check-In right now is kind of my fave, and then of course like Love in the Middle. But I've played that for so long.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, number one record, number one R&B record for 4 weeks.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Congrats. It's in our
Hey,
rotation here at Hot 103 Jams.
hey,
So
yeah. But no, but yeah, I feel like this project, to be honest, like, I'm very proud of the fact that as it stands right now, I haven't skipped a lot of records, in the sense of like listening back to it. I think, the top of it, from top to the middle to, it's like, okay, this is a very listenable project, and
yes.
it's something for everybody on there. So I stand firm in that.
Yeah, check in. One of my faves. Love in the Middle, of course, one of my faves. I
Yeah.
like the intro too. I feel like you set the tone off really well. Like it was like, and I feel like I
Yeah.
be telling people this. I know it's an intro, but I be telling
Yeah.
them I feel like songs that are short be
Mm.
so fire because it's like
Mm.
it's only like a minute 20 seconds and I wanted more. But that's the perfect thing because then you set us up for Back for More, Spin,
Mhm.
all the other songs on
Mhm.
that album. So, and I know that came out, was that August of this year?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Last
so
month.
so
Yep.
yeah, oh yeah, that was the time been flying by. I feel
It's
like it's already
crazy.
October. I ain't gonna lie.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie. All right, Kevin, before you go, I
Yeah.
want to know for all your fans out there that's supporting you and the people that are maybe even just now meeting you or just connecting, like, oh wait, that was like yes, that was Kevin, that was Kevin's doing. What do you want your legacy in R&B and music to be as a whole?
Yeah, it's a future architect. You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm currently building a blueprint for indie R&B. It's not going to be the only blueprint.
Right.
It's just going to be my blueprint that people can kind of take and pattern themselves after, you know what I mean, and take what they need from it and disregard other things. But I think that's kind of my position right now. It's not necessarily a leader or a front runner or whatever, but I'm an architect. So I don't I don't know where that puts me in position. I feel like it definitely puts me probably ahead of the Mohegans because I have to like be like, ew,
Yeah.
some crazy stuff coming ahead. I might want to look out for.
Right. Watch out.
But yeah, so I think an indie architect, that was fearless and that, did what he wanted to do and also made great music, while paving that way.
Love that. Now, before you go, one last
Mhm.
thing. You got to call out one artist that you have not worked with yet that you
Yeah.
are like, you know what? I think we should do a project together, whether that is you
Ooh.
songwrite, you produce for them, you and them on a song together, whatever it is, you got to call somebody out right now.
Ooh, that's so good. That's so good. It's a couple of artists that I would love to work with. I would love to write for Usher for sure. Haven't done that yet, so that's on the bucket list. I would love to collaborate with Stevie Wonder. Um, I would love to. I would love to produce for Alex Isley.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Yes.
I would love to. Singing. Right. Oh, yeah. So yeah, those
Anything.
things for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Any of
yeah,
those.
yeah.
I can see that happening. And like you said, the key word was yet. It just hasn't happened yet. It's probably going to
Mhm.
happen before the end of the year. My fingers are crossed for it. Whenever it does happen, I'll be pushing it here on Hot 103 Gems and the Offer Hustle.
Hey,
So I just want to thank you so much for your time. I'm super excited that we got a chance to finally chat and just dive into more about you. And then you just being a real student of the game. I love that. I feel like that speaks volumes about you and that you're still in it and you still have this smile and this light about yourself. I feel like it's going to continue to inspire other people.
thank you. I appreciate you.